One of the biggest struggles most people face in life is comparing themselves to others. Without even realizing it, we often ask ourselves questions like, why is she doing so well? Why does he have so much success while I don't? But what we usually forget is this: her journey and mine are not the same. His path and mine were never meant to be identical. Think about it for a moment. If a fish spends its whole life wishing to fly like a bird, then no matter how perfectly it can swim, it will always feel like a failure. Even though it has the ability to travel across the ocean, it will never feel good enough. And today, because of social media, this habit of comparison has grown worse than ever before. We see people showing their achievements online, their wealth, their beauty, their vacations, and their celebrations. And in those moments, our own lives can suddenly feel small. We start to overlook our own talents. We forget what makes us unique. And when this cycle of thinking continues, it slowly pushes people into sadness, insecurity, and even hopelessness. That's why today's story is for anyone who has ever thought, I'll never be as good as them. If you've ever compared yourself and felt like you're falling behind, then listen closely, because this story has the power to shift your perspective completely. There was once a peaceful little village near a busy town. Next to this village stood a vast and beautiful forest filled with tall trees, streams, and wildlife. In that village lived a boy named Ethan. Ethan was known for being hardworking, kind, and helpful. But despite all his good qualities, he had one habit that made him deeply unhappy. He constantly compared himself with others. Whenever he saw his friend Liam scoring the highest marks in class, Ethan thought, I wish I was as intelligent as him. When he noticed his neighbor Ryan, who came from a wealthy family, Ethan thought, why can't I have money like him? Even if he saw someone running fast in the playground, his mind would whisper, why am I not like that? These thoughts weighed heavily on Ethan's heart. The more he compared himself, the more miserable he felt. He lost focus in his studies. He no longer enjoyed playing. And slowly, he began to believe one painful thought: I'll never be good enough. One day, a wise old man visited the village. People fondly called him Grandpa Joe. He had lived many years, seen the world, and was loved by everyone for his simple but powerful advice. Ethan, feeling hopeless, decided to talk to him. Grandpa, he said, I try so hard, but no matter what I do, I always feel sad when I see others doing better. It feels like I'll never measure up. Grandpa Joe smiled warmly and said, Ethan, meet me tomorrow morning at the oldest tree in the village. You will find your answer there. The next morning, Ethan arrived at the giant old tree. Grandpa Joe was already there, waiting with a calm smile. Ethan, he said, look around you. Tell me what you see. Ethan looked carefully. I see so many trees, some tall, some short, some full of fruits, others with none. Every tree looks different. Grandpa Joe nodded. Now imagine this. Suppose the apple tree complained, saying, why am I not as tall as the coconut tree? Or if the coconut tree said, I wish I could grow sweet apples. How would that sound? Ethan laughed. That would sound silly, Grandpa. Trees don't think like that. Exactly, said Grandpa Joe. But people do. Now tell me, how does this forest look to you overall? Ethan thought for a moment and then replied, it looks peaceful and beautiful. Everything seems just right. Grandpa Joe placed a hand on Ethan's shoulder. That's because every tree has its own purpose. The apple tree gives sweetness. The coconut tree gives strength and shade. They are different, but both are valuable. In the same way, people are different too. Each person has strengths that others may not have, and that's what makes life balanced. Then Grandpa Joe took Ethan to a nearby pond. Fish swam freely in the water, while above them, a bird soared through the sky. Now imagine, Grandpa Joe said, if the fish wished it could fly like the bird, or if the bird wished it could swim like the fish. Would that make sense? Ethan shook his head. Not at all. Fish are made for swimming, and birds are made for flying. Grandpa Joe smiled gently. Exactly, Ethan. Then why do you want to live someone else's life? You too have talents. You too have a purpose. Maybe you just haven't discovered them yet. Instead of comparing, start discovering. Find your strengths and walk your own path. Those words touched Ethan deeply. He felt something shift inside his heart. He realized that every time he compared himself, he was only stealing away his own happiness. From that day forward, Ethan stopped measuring his worth against others. He began focusing on his own studies, his own work, and his own growth. At first, it wasn't easy, but slowly, he gained confidence. His life started to feel exciting again. With time, his efforts bore fruit. A few years later, Ethan built a successful business through his hard work and creativity. He became an inspiration, not just for his family, but for the entire village. Whenever someone asked him, "Ethan, how did you achieve so much success?" he would smile and say, "Never compare yourself with others. If a fish tries to fly, it will always feel like a failure. But when it focuses on swimming, it can conquer the ocean." And remember this, just like the sun and the moon don't shine at the same time, yet both are equally important. Your timing and your journey are unique. Don't waste your life walking someone else's path. Find your own. Nurture it. Walk it in your own way. That's when real success will come. So if this story spoke to you, give it a like, share it with others, and remember, you are not meant to be anyone else. You are meant to be you.